Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about time. And I hear you. You're like, well, what about time? Right? You're like, my time is valuable. What is happening now? Right? So I get it. We all want to make the most of our time in this life, right? And also on a daily basis, we feel like we could use more of it. So for that, I'm actually going to recommend you pop back and listen to our episode with Megan Sumrell from March of 2024 this year, which was called There's Not Enough Time in the Day. But for this conversation, I want to focus more on our perspective of time. Or maybe a better way to put it is actually our impatience. And I say our because I am with you, right? These days, we are so used to instant gratification and nonstop distraction when delayed gratification is required. And that might even be like a line, right? We pull out our phones, or I commute on a subway, right? Pull out my phone. There is constant input to make the time, pass and sort of soothe us. So where does this leave us when it comes to our health goals? So as many of you have heard over the years, I'm sure there's that phrase, we didn't gain the weight in a day. It won't come off overnight either, right? We've heard it. We know it. And I suppose, yes, this can help remind us that things take time. But if you're like me, that doesn't always help, right? So recently I was at a conference and the closing speaker was doing her motivational piece. And she said something that struck me. She was talking about staying the course and keeping on with the actions and the routines that we know serve us. And then she said this, fruit is the last thing to grow on trees. I'm going to say it again. Fruit is the last thing to grow on trees. So maybe you've been consistent with your water, your sleep, your protein-packed breakfast, your veggies, your quality fat. And yet, you're still wearing the same size clothes. You're looking at a number on the scale that feels frustrating. Or maybe you're working towards something in your career or in your business that feels like it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or maybe a total plateau. These are the moments to remind yourself that fruit is the last thing to grow on a fruit tree. So your reality in the moment doesn't mean that you're not growing. It doesn't mean that you're not progressing. It simply means you haven't yet seen the fruits of your labor. So I encourage you to keep going because the fruit is coming. So here's what you can do. In addition to reminding yourself that the fruit is the last thing to grow, consider that with a fruit tree, there's a seed, and then the seed first establishes roots, and then a sturdy trunk, and then it branches out. So this part, right, it also needs water and sunlight and nutrients, and then it grows leaves. And still, there is yet no fruit. So consider for yourself, what are your roots? What's your trunk? Your branches? All the leaves that you've grown so far, right? Do you have more energy? Are you in a better mood more often? Do you wake up feeling rested? Do you notice less joint pain or swelling, less bloating? These are all signs that the fruit will come, provided that we're a little patient and continue on. So 3 things that can help you. Number 1, have a plan. Know your plan, right? Like a gardener or an arborist, they're the people who do the trees, the arborist, right? They have a plan. And if they didn't know their plan, they'd be constantly pulling up the soil, right? Digging it up and going, what happened to the seed? Why, not letting the roots and the trunk and the branches all grow. So know your plan, have your plan. Number 2, accountability. And not in the police way, but in the way of making it fun. Having a cheerleader, a sounding board, right? If you want a coach, someone like me or our guest this week, Paige, right? Somebody who can help guide you. And as we've discussed before, I think going it alone is always harder, right? Research shows us that too. And then number 3, remind yourself of the fruit that's coming in the end. Remember where you're headed, right? The fruit is the end game. So while you take time to notice the leaves, which can help with that like dopamine hit of the immediate satisfaction, know still the end game that we're headed. All of this, any goal, any pursuit in life, health or otherwise, takes time. So when the impatience starts to pop up, as it does, I know it does because we're all human and we're all living in 2024 or beyond, right? Remind yourself that the fruit is the last thing to grow. Paige, any thoughts, anything you want to add?
No, I absolutely love that. I never really thought of it that way, but I think that that's a great, like, I love the leaves analogy of like looking at the leaves, because I constantly am telling my clients, oh yeah, like, you know, you maybe haven't hit the weight loss that you want yet, but how are you sleeping? How are you feeling energy wise? Are you noticing you're less cranky throughout the day? So that is a fantastic way to put it. And I also agree with you. This is definitely like, we as a collective have an issue with this, myself very much included.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepic. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I'm at Jen Trepic, JenNTrepeck. Website is asaladwithasideoffries.com. Pick your platform, send a message. I want to hear from you, your ideas, your takeaways, your questions. This is also the easiest way to learn more about working with me as your health coach. Paige Harris, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks so much, Jen. Had a great time.
Love it always. And friends, if you are not already, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/saladwithasideofffries to show your support for this podcast, this community, and most importantly, support your health. You'll get this week's recipes for the cantaloupe shaved ice and grilled plums with spiced walnut yogurt sauce, plus your quarterly live Q&A, which is just you and me. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.